The definition of pretend is to behave as if something is true when it's not, especially to deceive. And that last part, super important, to deceive. For decades, I was pretending to be my authentic self. Why? To fit in, to survive. I spent 7 years in the US doing whatever it took to stay. I adapted, molded myself to what I thought would work. I became the version of myself that was palpable, that didn't ruffle any feathers, that checked off all the right boxes. I did it for family, to maintain the illusion that we all bought into of normalcy within dysfunction. I played the role that was expected of me even when it chipped away at my soul. I climbed the corporate ladder. I earned more. I drove better cars. I lived in more luxurious apartments, all the while getting more and more miserable. Who was I deceiving? Who was I deceiving? Sure, I was deceiving everyone around me, but most importantly, I was deceiving myself. And I knew that. Deep down, when the music stopped playing, or when there was that silence between two tracks, I knew at that point. You know what I'm talking about. And then in 2020, I stopped pretending. I was like, this is it, enough. And here are 10 things that happened. Number 1, my body rebelled. I went from being this happy-go-lucky guy to now developing a condition that freaked me out. Even when I think about it now, it freaked me out. Let's just say TMI, it was in the baby making area, and it was the first time this happened, and it had to happen during the pandemic. And I went on to WebMD, and I was like, wow, I am actually doomed. This is it. And I broke down 2 days later, or actually, 2 days later, I went to the doctor, and then within less than a week, everything was fine. But the message was clear. My body was rebelling against everything that I suppressed and was purging that all out. Number 2 is my sleep was wrecked. I quit watching porn. I went no-fap for a few months. I quit smoking weed for 3 months. This made my mind relentless or restless and my body just uncomfortable. Absolutely uncomfortable, and sleeping became a nightmare. Sleeping became a nightmare. I had to learn how to exist without numbing myself. Number 3, food lost its taste. This one was weird. I'm a foodie, or I used to be a foodie, and this one caught me off guard. The things that tasted so good to me weren't tasting that good, and my taste buds were adjusting, just like my entire being. Number 4, socialization became a chore. Socialization was already a chore before, but now even more so. Even a simple trip to the grocery store at that point, I would memorize the conversation that I would have with the cashier even before I got to the grocery store. I had realized that I built my entire social identity on autopilot interactions. And here I found myself stripped of all my pretenses, relearning how to be human again. What are we at? Number 4, my anxiety skyrocketed. I was speaking at work, I was training people at my work online, and I hated it. My body screamed at me every time I had to perform without my usual masks. I felt raw and exposed. Number 5, exercise became my sanctuary. My workouts became the only place where my emotions could move through me. I sweat out my anger, my grief, my confusion, and with every push-up, every sprint, every weight lifted, I felt like I was shedding another layer of who I used to be. Number 5, old friendships faded. When I started to travel again in 2022, I met up with people from my past, and I quickly realized we no longer related. Our conversations felt hollow. The things that we once bonded over didn't exist. I wasn't the same, they weren't the same, and the distance was inevitable. Number 8. I'm losing track of the numbers. I had to let go of everything. Everything. I had to let go of everything. Decade-long friendships, family friends, my idea of what closeness meant in immediate family, the material things, old belief systems, my entire identity. I had to let go of up until that point. And it felt like a death. And it was, in a way. The old pretend me had to die so the true me could live. Number 9, I nuked my old life in 2024. People talk about blowing up their life. I nuked my life in 2024. I moved 6 times in 4 months. That should give you an indication of how much I was in chaos. A complete rebirth. Complete rebirth. There was a lot of chaos, yes, but also a lot of freedom. With every move, with every one of those 6 moves, I shed another layer of who I thought I was. I shed another layer of my conditioning. With every unfamiliar place, I got closer to who I truly was. No safety nets, no comfort zone, just me, raw and real. And number 10, I healed everything. I healed everything. Unworthiness, fear of being seen, abandonment wounds, money wounds, old stories, old belief systems, all of it. My self-hatred transformed into self-love. And healing wasn't linear. Some days I felt like on the top of the world, and other days I felt like I was crumbling. If y'all have been on your healing journey, you know what I'm talking about. But I just kept going piece by piece, and I reclaimed myself. And hey, finally, number 11 being my favorite number, and I wanted to give you a bonus, is I finally felt true love, freedom, and connection. Because nothing was left to hold me back anymore. No past identity, no old belief systems, nothing. It was just me. Pure unfiltered me. So when I stopped pretending on who I thought I was, I found who I truly am. A loving, worthy, sexy man. A man deeply connected with God, finally living from a space of I am enough. I am enough. I sometimes think back and wonder, what if I never got on this journey? Because for me, it was 4 years of intense transformational work. And sometimes it brings me to tears. Sometimes, like right now, it's making me sad to even wonder, what if I never actually went on this journey? Because nothing in my life has been more transformational than this healing journey that I went on to find my true authentic self. So if you're still pretending, still holding on to a version of you that doesn't feel real, I promise you it's worth getting started. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate you. Subscribe for more on everything authenticity, life transformations, leadership, and healing. With that, I wish you a wonderful day. And until the next one, stay blessed.